Hi, I'm Andrew Halsman of Family Tree Counseling Associates. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in Carmel, Indiana. I have 30 plus years of experience working with individuals, couples, and families. And please give me a call at 317-457-8668 or A Holzman, Holzman, 2 at Comcast.net if you'd like to talk to me. And I'm calling this video Too Numb to Love. And of course, when we get married and when we're in a relationship, we would like intimacy, we would like closeness. And a lot of times that seems to break down after the initial stages of extreme closeness, of enmeshment, of romantic love. And a lot of folks who come into counseling seem to be disconnected from each other, seem to be numb, numb to their feelings, numb to the relationship, whether they're very angry about something that's happened in the relationship or they're just haven't learned, given their family and their family of origin, how to express their feelings. So you can either come from a family that is way too emotional or come from a family that's way very unemotional. And if you come from a family that's way too emotional and there's chaos and there's screaming and there's fights and there's difficulty like that, you might, if you're a relatively sane person, not want to continue that. You might not want to be as reactive as that. You might kind of figure out, okay, I need to be different, whether consciously or unconsciously, in my relationship. I'm not going to be as reactive, emotionally reactive. I'm not going to yell and scream. I don't want that in my life. I want calmness. I want safety and easygoingness. And I want to just do my work, come home, have a good relationship with my spouse, or have a day with the kids, and my spouse comes home and there's no stress and there's no anger and there's no fights and there's no over emotionality. So somewhere along the line, way before you're in a relationship, you've figured out how to be this person that doesn't really show a lot of emotion. And you can compartmentalize your feelings. You can put them aside. You can say they're not important. You can deal with them just because they're just feelings and I can let them go. And so, well, that works. That tends to work for a while, and that works in a lot of locations in your life. But in the relationship, that probably doesn't work so well because you're a feeling person, and those feelings underneath are going to come out somehow. They're going to come out some way. You might be passive aggressive. You might be, forgetting about doing things. You might somehow you're going to show those strong feelings, but you may not show them directly. Another possibility is you come from a family where people just don't show feelings. They just don't deal with their feelings at all. Maybe your parents had parents who were overly emotional, or they were alcoholic, or they were abusive in some way. And so your parents learned to do what I was just talking about before, which is shut down. And you continue that pattern. And you're just not very good with feelings. You're not very good with expressing feelings. You're attracted to someone who can express feelings, your spouse, hopefully. And that seems interesting and exciting, possibly, but you're just not very good at it. And you are calm and you're rational and you're easygoing. So you see those as positive traits. And it's the same thing. Underneath, there's feeling. There's feeling for everybody, whether you know it or not. In my experience, even men who come in who are pretty good at hiding their feelings, or women who've been, say, in situations where there's been over emotionality or abuse, that your life works. You might be great at business, you might be great with friends, but you have emotion, you have feelings, you have ways of dealing with what's going on in your life that has an emotional component, that has a feeling component. Even the person you've picked is going to help you bring that out. In fact, that's kind of the credo of Family Tree, is that the person that you marry, the person that you're with, is going to help you pay attention to those long lost or covered up or compartmentalized feelings. I mean, I'm stating this like it's a fact. I think everyone has feelings. Everyone has feelings, even if they're not aware of them. and they come out one way or another. Like I said, they either come out aggressively, or they come out passive aggressively, or they come out assertively. They're going to come out somehow. So the work in relationship therapy, the work in any kind of working with two people who are trying to get along is, okay, one person is very numb and the other person might be very uncomfortable with that. They might have, they might have all they want in terms of material goods and children and house, and, things are safe and secure, but there might not be much intimacy because there's not much expression of not only love, but anger, hurt. You don't know where the other person's coming from. If you don't know where the person's coming from, then that's going to be very difficult to be in a relationship with that person. And if you're very numb, well, you might be very comfortable with that, or you might be very uncomfortable with that. If you're very comfortable with it, you just don't know whether you know that it's okay to do that, or you don't, or you think it's not okay to do that. If you think it's not okay, then you have some insight, some awareness that it's not working for you. If you're okay with it, if you think you're okay with it, then you just want to be this very safe and secure and calm person, but you're missing out. You're missing out on intimacy. You're missing out on possibly a sex life. You're missing out on, setting your boundaries, because things might come up that you just let go by because you're numb. So there's another possibility. There might be the person who's very codependent, who has given and given and given in the relationship, and they've been emotional and they've been real, but they're with someone who isn't responsive or is difficult in some way. They just don't follow through. And so the person becomes numb. The codependent person, usually the woman, becomes numb to giving. They just shut down. I'll see this a lot in my work, that a codependent woman who's been in a relationship with a counter-dependent or cut off guy comes into therapy, and they come into therapy and they've been, in their own mind, and maybe it's true in many ways, but they've been carrying the load. They've been taking care of the kids. They've been working. They've been giving. They've been emotionally present. They may have been doing it in ways that the other person in the relationship hasn't gotten it, but they've been doing it the way they know how, and they're not getting much of a response. And so if they don't get much of a response, that at some point you decide, well, I just can't keep on, throwing good money after bad. I can't keep on doing the same thing over and over again. So you shut down and you're numb and you don't care anymore. You seem not to care. And so I see these kind of relationships where all of a sudden this person stops caring. They are numb. They are shut off. Well, again, they have a lot of emotion in there. Numbness is just kind of the outer covering, but there's a lot of feeling, a lot of disappointment, a lot of regret, a lot of hurt, a lot of frustration in this relationship. And that's a better thing to express than numbness. Numbness is difficult. It's kind of like, I'm bored or I'm numb, and there's nothing really you can do with that. And I don't really believe that's the key piece of this. I think there's a lot underneath. And again, this is my personal thought about this. I think there's a lot underneath, and if you can get to what's underneath, then you can work through the relationship. Then you can start to feel. Then you can start to be vulnerable again. You can start to care. That's hard. If you've given a lot and you've not gotten much back, or you've learned because of your family of origin it's not safe to talk about feelings because there's too much emotionality, or it was just not there in your relationship, then that takes a lot of work. And to me, that's the essence of what counseling is to pay attention to who you are, where you're coming from, what has affected you, so you can start to change that if your relationship is not working for you. And your relationship's not working for you if there's lack of intimacy. That's the most important thing in a relationship. The rest is great, having 2 cars and having a good house and, nice kids and all wonderful stuff, important stuff. But if there's not intimacy in the relationship, then in my experience, and probably anybody's experience, that relationship will break down. There will be, a slow and steady decline, or there will be an emotional affair, or there'll be an affair, a physical affair. There'll be something that will break the relationship up because the people don't connect. And so the job of all of this is that you want to connect. that you need to connect, that you need to pay attention to what matters to you on an emotional level. So if you pay attention to what matters to you on an emotional level, then the relationship can be so much better. So thank you for listening. I'm Andy Holzman of Family Tree, 317-457-8668. A Holzman, Holzman 2 at Comcast.net. This is just a little brief idea of if you're numb in the relationship, what to do to take care of it. And I'm available, and the counselors of Family Tree are available. Be happy to talk to you about this is something that we deal with. So thank you very much. Look forward to hearing from you.